So there are a lot of people moving to Austin for the opportunity here, whether it's the networking or to be part of something new or just to be part of this like up and coming community and environment. And really just because Austin is a really cool place to live. I mean, let's be honest. But the question is, can you actually afford to live in Austin, whether you're moving here now or in 2023? So that's what we're going to talk about today. Hi, I'm Tiffany Moore. I'm a realtor and broker right here in Austin, Texas. I have people from all over the world buy and sell homes here. So if you're interested in just like staying up to date on what's going on in Austin, you want to know about the market, you want to know what it's like to live here, go ahead and subscribe, give me a like. And if you have any questions about moving here, reach out to me. My contact info is below. So first, let's talk about the big issue, and that is housing. Housing is one of the biggest expenses people have in their lives, and the housing in Austin has gone through all kinds of changes in the past few decades. So really, we're going to talk about what does it actually cost to buy a home in Austin today, and then we're going to compare it to some other areas around the country. Okay, so the housing in Austin, you've heard that there's people moving here every single day. The housing is crazy, and people talk about Austin being cheap and easy to afford. And I want to say first off that like that is all relative. It depends on what you're comparing Austin to. So for today, we're going to compare Austin to if you're moving out here from San Jose versus if you're moving out here from Louisville, Kentucky. And those are two totally different pictures. And whether or not Austin is cheap or affordable is going to depend on which of those areas you come from. So we're going to go through some numbers on the median home sale price for Austin and for those other cities. So let's jump right into it. In October of 2020, the Austin/Round Rock metro area, the median sales price for homes in Austin was $475,000. And that is a 4% increase from October of last year. However, that is significantly down compared to where we were in May of this year. So in May, the median sales price was $550,000. So it went from $550 to $475, which is a 13% decrease. So yes, the housing market is changing in Austin. It's changing all around the country, and Austin is definitely being affected by it. But I like to think of this like the stock market. Like there's going to be ups and downs, there's going to be peaks and valleys. So yes, since May, it's dropped 13%, but we're still up 4% from where we were last year. So you're going to have ups and downs, but overall the trajectory of real estate everywhere, but especially in Austin, history shows that it is going to keep going up. So as long as you're not buying today and hoping to sell in a few months, this really shouldn't be too much of an issue. So that was the numbers that we just talked about were for the Austin-Round Rock metro area. Now we're going to talk specifically about the city of Austin. So in the city of Austin, for October of this year, the median sales price was $555,000. And again, that's an increase from October of last year. So it's a 3% increase from October 2021 to October of this year. However, in May of this year, so just like 6 months ago, the median sales price in the city of Austin was $667,000, which was 17% higher. So again, like prices are dipping. The interest rate obviously has a lot to do with that. We're kind of going through a recession right now. Lots of tech companies have been laying off employees. They've been putting on hiring freezes. And let's be real, like a lot of the people who are moving to Austin are moving in the tech industry. So it is having a big effect on our housing market here. However, again, we're still up from the point that we were at last year. So prices in the city of Austin, the median sales price has gone up 3% from where it was last year. So what are some other factors that go into cost of living? We have talked about housing, which is a really big chunk. Like that's where most people's expenses go. What about the other stuff like utilities, groceries, gas, health coverage, all that stuff? So for everything else, Austin is pretty much in line with the national average, or it's a little bit below. So utilities are 5% lower than the national average. Electric is about $160 a month. Cell phone is about $175 a month. And I pulled up, if you guys don't know about this tool, I use Gas Buddy. So gasbuddy.com tells you like gas prices at specific gas stations throughout the city. So right now, the average gas price in Austin is about $2.68 per gallon. And the other thing that I spend all my money on is food. I cook a lot. We don't go out to eat very much, but when we do, it's usually for like a celebration or a nice dinner. So the most of the money that I spend on food is in groceries. And something that's really awesome about Austin is that groceries are about 8% lower than the national average. Here are some common prices for groceries on like bread, milk, eggs, bananas, and hamburgers. You can see that all right here. So healthcare in Austin is 5% higher than the national average, and I don't have any data to back this up, but I'm speculating that some of that might be because we have specialists in Austin and we have really good healthcare. I know there's really good doctors everywhere, but there's literally like every specialist you can think of is in Austin, and those tend to be more expensive than general practitioners. This is just my speculation. Again, no data to back that up. So let's compare Austin to if you're moving to Austin from San Jose, what does that look like? So a lot of the data that I'm using today comes from payscale.com, and I like them because they talk about things like utilities and healthcare and things like that. They do talk about housing prices on that website, but I found them to be pretty unreliable for the most part. So I did my own digging to come up with the real numbers for median sales prices for Austin, for San Jose, and for Louisville, Kentucky for this specific video. So that's what we're going to talk about today. But for all the other things like utilities, groceries, things like that, payscale.com is a really good resource to use, and also check out that gasbuddy.com to see gas prices pretty much anywhere you want. So we talked about the housing in Austin. Let's talk about the housing in San Jose. So the median sales price in San Jose is $1.45 million compared to Austin's $555,000. So I just want to say that again, $1.45 million to $555,000. So the median sales price in San Jose is 2.6 times the median sales price in Austin. And so this is what people are talking about when they say, oh my gosh, Austin is so affordable. It's great. It's so cheap to live there. Yeah, when you're comparing it to a house that costs $1.45 million, and instead you can buy one for $555,000, yes, obviously everyone would say that Austin is more affordable. This is exactly what we're talking about. And how I mentioned before, a lot of the folks that are moving out here are moving in the tech industry. They're from San Jose, they're from the Bay Area, they're even from like Seattle or from New York, where they have really big tech hubs. Those are also very high cost of living areas. So this is like the main reason that everyone says, oh my gosh, Austin is so affordable. That and the other factors that I mentioned that are at or below the national average: utilities, groceries, gas, healthcare for the most part. So it's not just the housing that you're going to save when you move to Austin from San Jose. San Jose's cost of living for literally everything else is higher than Austin's and higher than the national average. Utilities, groceries, transportation, and healthcare. So in San Jose, utilities are 24% higher than the national average. Groceries are 21%, and healthcare is 20% higher than the national average. And here's some general prices for like a loaf of bread, gallon of milk, carton of eggs, bananas, and a hamburger in San Jose. Again, you can see all these are higher than those costs in Austin. So what if you're not moving here from San Jose or Seattle or New York City that have very high cost of living? What if you are moving here from Louisville, Kentucky? So again, we're going to talk mostly about housing because that is a big chunk of people's expenses. So in Austin, again, the median sales price is $555,000. These numbers are all for October of 2022. These are like the most accurate numbers on the market. Numbers from November haven't been released yet in like any area. So October of 2022, median sales price in Austin was $555,000. In Louisville, Kentucky, it's $242,000. And I had to like double, triple, quadruple check these numbers to make sure I had them right. $242,000 is the median sales price for all sales in Louisville, Kentucky, which is crazy to me. I don't know if I have just been like insulated by Austin for so long, but like you really can't buy anything in Austin under $300. I was talking to someone a few weeks ago who lives more in the Midwest, and I told her I was in real estate, and she's like, oh, that's awesome, we're buying a house. What could you get in Austin for around $400? Like nothing. You really can't get much unless you're looking for like an investment property or something that you can fix up, or this is, you're just looking for a very basic starter home. There's not much you can get in Austin under 400. And I told that to her, jaw about hit the floor. And now I understand why. Is because the median sales price in Louisville, Kentucky, which is a big city, like in the Midwest, Louisville's a big city, and the median sales price is $242,000. So yeah, if you're moving to Austin from Louisville, it's not that affordable. In fact, the median sales price in Austin is 2.3 times the median sales price in Louisville, Kentucky. So if you're making $100,000 in Louisville and you want to move to Austin to like buy a house and maintain the same cost of living, you're gonna have to make like $230,000. That's crazy. Like that's a lot. When people talk about moving to Austin and how affordable it is, they're not talking about compared to living in Louisville, Kentucky. Obviously they're talking about compared to San Jose, California. So what can you expect from the other factors of cost of living that we've already talked about? Utilities, groceries, transportation, and healthcare. So this was really interesting. Utilities in Louisville are 3% higher than the national average. I don't have any idea why. I don't know where that comes from. Groceries are 7% lower, which is pretty consistent with Austin. And healthcare is 19% lower. So Austin healthcare was the healthcare in Austin is like 5% higher than the national average, but Louisville is 19% lower. And here are the prices for some common grocery items: loaf of bread, gallon of milk, carton of eggs, a bunch of bananas, and a hamburger. You can see pretty similar to Austin's numbers. So other than housing and healthcare, the cost of living in Louisville is pretty consistent with cost of living in Austin. It's just the housing that's the big kicker. So with Austin costing 2.3 times the median sales price of Louisville, that is really something that you're going to have to consider when you're moving from that area of the country to Austin. So what about the fun stuff that you're doing when you're not working? Like, let's talk about dining. I mentioned that most of my food I like to cook at home, but when we do go out, we're usually going to something nice. We're going to celebrate, or it's like, oh my gosh, we haven't been out to eat in like a couple months. Let's go somewhere and like treat ourselves. We also go to some casual places here and there, but for the most part, all the food that we eat is at home. So the good thing about Austin is that you have pretty much a huge array of dining options. You can spend $2 on a taco or $13 on a taco. It just depends on what kind of taco you get, where you get it, how long you wait in line to get it, all those things. You can buy a $2 PBR or a $12 bourbon barrel-aged stout. You can spend $100 on a really nice dinner out or $500. The point is there are a lot of options and it really just depends on your taste and your style. I will say if you like good cocktails, plan on spending about $10 to $14 on a good cocktail in Austin. And this is also something that can span on a very wide range. So my husband and I, we like to go to this place called Pinballs, which is kind of like an old adult arcade. The crazy thing is they have one of the best whiskey bars in Austin, hands down. So we go for the fun and then we also go for the whiskey. And my husband got like a really good old fashioned. He loves rye whiskey. And I was like, you know what? Let's do something nice. I'm going to get a rye Manhattan, but why don't you surprise me with like a really nice rye? And so the bartender was like super excited about this rye whiskey. And he was like, it's a little bit more expensive than your average, so that's okay. Let's do it. That was a $25 Manhattan at Pinballs, where kids are in the background playing like skee ball and everything. I'm paying $25 for Manhattan. So just to tell you, like, there's a very wide range of quality and of products and prices that you can pay for anything in Austin. But if you do like cocktails, they're going to span usually between like $9 and $15 for a good cocktail. Let's talk about movies. If you'd like to go to the movie theater, plan on spending like $10 for a matinee and $14 for a night show. And if you go to like Gold's Gym, LA Fitness, something like that, your memberships are going to be between $35, $45. So I hope this gives you a really good idea of what the cost of living is in Austin, what it's actually like to live here. Like we've talked about, everything is relative. So when you hear how cheap Austin is, yeah, compared to San Jose, not compared to Louisville, Kentucky. So it's really important to keep in mind, like, what is your monthly budget going to be? Figure all that out and weigh like, okay, how much money are we going to save by moving to Austin? Or how much more expensive is life going to be when we move here? And really figure out if it works for you. And if you have any questions about moving to Austin or buy a home here, reach out to me. All my contact info is below.